Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Do This. This is Jordan, and I have an emergency update on Tropical Storm Ko-May, which has rapidly intensified into a near typhoon-force storm, and is expected to continue to intensify into landfall, and a major typhoon landfall cannot be ruled out with Ko-May. We also have Tropical Depression 12W, which could become a typhoon as it approaches Japan. So first, this is Tropical Depression 12, which recently formed. Now, as you see, right now it's only at 25 knots, but in a few days, it's expected to already be a high-end tropical storm, and it could also become a typhoon as it approaches Japan. We already know where it's going to go after 18Z on the 28th. The forecast cone doesn't go out that far, but based on this, it will likely either make landfall in Japan or curve away from Japan, but still bring some damaging wind gusts and heavy rainfall. Next, this is Ko-May, which, as you see here, is at 60 knots or 70 miles an hour, and is near typhoon force. By landfall is expected to be 100 miles an hour, which is a Category 2 typhoon, and it could even become a major typhoon before landfall. Next, let's look at the current satellite imagery in these storms. Here's Ko-May. You can see how it's been intensifying over the last several hours. You can see it has a pretty defined eye wall there, and it's very well organized. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a typhoon right now, around 75 to 80 miles an hour at this point. Next, we'll look at Francisco, which hasn't changed much, really. If anything, the convection lowered, really, on this storm. And here's Tropical Depression 12, which right now does not look well organized, but this is a tropical depression. You can see the rotation, and the pressure is of 1,004 millibars, which I think that's why they classify this as a tropical depression, even though it looks less organized than a lot of invests really do. Next, let's look at the models. So here's the HWRF on Ko-May. You can see that this has it a little weaker than it actually is, but it has it only being around 75 knots at landfall, which is around 85 miles an hour, which is much weaker than it's currently forecasted to be. So now we'll look at halves A, which also has Ko-May, and you can see it also has it weaker, much weaker than it actually is. Right now it has it at 61 knots, but then it has it weakening really fast. This is very strange. It doesn't even have it becoming a typhoon, even if it was nearly a typhoon. Then the GFS. Oh, you know what might be the issue? Here we go. Alright, let's go back through. So now it should show. So this is much better. Here it shows it being around. This has actually becoming a major hurricane right before, or a major typhoon right before landfall. And then it has it being a tropical storm probably all the way up until Japan area. Maybe even longer than that. And after that, it's extra tropical there, it looks like. And let's go back to the halves A. And this doesn't really have it being that strong at landfall. So I think this is just an outlier, really. It doesn't even have it becoming over 85 miles an hour, which obviously it's nearly at that point already. Next, here's the GFS. You can see it has it being only 75 knots too, which is very strange, considering it's forecasted to be a Category 2 hurricane, or typhoon I mean. And then the ECMWF, the Euro, has both storms. So this obviously is weaker than it's going to be. It's obviously going to be a Category 2 typhoon at landfall, maybe even a Category 3 typhoon. And then finally, let's look at the GFS had 12 too. Here's the GFS on Tropical Depression 12. It actually has it becoming a pretty significant typhoon there. That would be a major typhoon. What is that? 30 north? That would be crazy. 37 north? I don't think that's gonna happen because that's pretty high up in latitude. And then the Euro has 12 here, becoming a typhoon. And this has it weakening much faster than the GFS. By the time it gets to the same height as the GFS, has it being a major typhoon, it's only barely a typhoon anymore, which seems more realistic, given actually it cuts out a frame here for the area. So anyways, that's all I have for this emergency update. If you or anyone you know is in the path of the storm, you need to make sure you or they are prepared for Co-May, because this isn't going to be your average tropical storm. This could even be a major typhoon. It's expected to be a Category 2 typhoon, and this will be strong to potentially catastrophic wind gusts and the potential for deadly flash flooding across much of the northern parts of the Philippines. So if you have any family in the area, you need to let them know. Goodbye.